welcome to the Odyssey, Invictus' famous podcast. Most famous, maybe because we don't have any other. Today with us, Mr. Fábio, our CEO, founder, and pretty much the guy that came up with the idea of farming Invictus. You could say hello to everyone, that would be nice.
Hello, everyone.
So this is going to be a different session today. I shouldn't say we are going to interview Fabio, because an interview is a nice thing. This is going to be pretty much just an interrogation. So welcome. Hope you enjoy. If you don't enjoy, that's solely your problem. Let's dive right in.
Being interviewed by Popek. Let's go.
Yeah, something like that. Let me just give a big-hearted hello to our friends in Poland.
Well, the best.
You know you are. You just spoke of Popek, so yeah, very well.
Always a good reference to them.
Always a good reference. So, Fabio, how old are you?
How old I am? I was born in 1988, so I would say I'm 37.
37.
26 June of 1988. It was a great year to be born, and the 90s was a great era.
The 90s were a great era. Sorry. The thing is, Fabio, you were born in the golden decade. Yeah.
I would say.
With different standards, different approach to things. You grew up during the 90s. You became your own man in the early 2000s. Yeah, and you start working in international moving.
In 2008, to be more precise.
2008, yeah.
Before being a packer in the mover.
Why?
Why did I join the industry?
Why did you join the industry? I know you were pretty much on the road to become a professional footballer. You want to dive into that? Even if you don't want to, we are going to dive into that. You're pretty on the way to become one professional footballer.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember because I saw you playing where you were like 14 or 15 or something like that. What happened?
Well, you started off with a tough question, man. I have a big influence of my father in my life. Me and my father were always like big friends. And honestly, it was like I was always looking up to him. When I was growing up, I was always following him, and he was a football player and also a football coach. So to me, it was a joy just to watch him first play and then coach, and I would follow him around. And I don't know. Some kids always ask for a X-Men toy or another toy. I always asked for football, and I played football ever since I was a little kid. And being a football player was a dream to me. Unfortunately, I had a heart condition, if I would say, during a football match, and I was taken into the hospital. It took me like 3 years, give or take, to pretty much like do all the testing, exams, and everything. And after 3 years, I will never forget that conversation. The doctor told me that it was my father was next to me, and the funny thing is that the doctor who treated me, it was actually also the doctor that treated Cristiano Ronaldo, who also had a heart condition and had to have surgery when he had when he was like 14 years old. So which was kind of funny connection. Aragão Pinto, the name of the doctor. Yeah, the most famous cardiologist here in Portugal. And the funny thing is that after spending 3 years in hospitals, they never found out any actual condition with my heart. So they couldn't treat what they couldn't identify. Apart from having an abnormal size heart, which is, the doctor referred to it as a lion heart, the size. They didn't find any condition. And so after that, I really had to decide what I wanted to do, because the normal regular teams I would not be allowed to play in a regular team with my medical tests. So I just, pretty much the dream was shattered.
You had to give up your dream.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I started to work for my father in the moving industry. He was working for many for 2 companies. I visited them both, and I was like 18 or 19, and I couldn't really study or or do any kind of work because the doctor said I could die in my sleep. So you imagine an 18-year-old boy getting that news, that you could die in your sleep. It took me like 6 months to actually accept the fear, and if I would die in my sleep, then I will.
To get used to the idea that you can die at any time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that, I was always like, my upbringing was all about physical. I was a physical man. I loved to play sports. Everything I did, I would be physical. And then once you hear that you cannot do anything, no efforts, you cannot get it, not even get angry. It's kind of a shock. So I was pretty much at home, and I was like, I cannot continue to live like this. So let's see what I can do. Like, I'm gonna try to help my father, like in his company, to be close to him as well. And so I started like going to removals, doing unloading, unpacking, like stuff, regular stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I.
I sense a bout of depression at that time. No.
I wouldn't say depression, but one of the things we have that is quite different now. Nowadays, everyone talks about that mental health thing, and that time, I was no one spoke to me about anything. Not even my father, because he didn't have the tools to speak with a person. My mother, she doesn't really speak about feelings or anything else, so I was pretty much like. I had to digest everything on my own, and maybe I didn't do such a good job, but I did what I could. Like, I wouldn't say depressed, but I really ate my way. I was like 70 kilos, fully like in shape, and I remember my worst moment was I was like with 130 kilos, I think. And yeah, that's the moment it hit me. Like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to go back to running. And if I die running, then I die running. I want to play football with my friends, and I want to play football again. And that's why I.
And you still play football weekly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I did yesterday. Yeah, with
And
my
you keep
friends.
inviting me, which is, yeah.
You should join, man. It's not. It's
Yeah,
nice and fun.
I'm a bit afraid that you guys mistake me for the ball and start kicking me around. So yeah,
Yeah, big fella. But you would have fun. It's nice.
no, yeah, eventually once in a while I show up,
It's like
as
therapy,
you
man.
well know.
It's like therapy.
Yeah,
Playing football for me is like therapy. It's like an addiction. If I don't play, I get sad. I get upset
yeah.
because it's the thing that I love to do.
It's a good way to vent, isn't it?
It is, man. It is. It is. We all have like things we like to do and things we are meant to do. And I think playing football is something that I'm meant to do, even if I don't do it professionally. It's something that it's my thing. It's my given talent. So it would be a shame for me not to like to enjoy it while I can, while I can run.
Mental issues and needing to go to a psychologist or a psychotherapist was viewed like it's only for crazy people.
Yeah, that's what my
Do you
father used to
remember?
say. Yeah,
You
that's
remember
exactly
that?
what my father used to say.
Fortunately, that stigma has been dying down, and mental health issues are being
Well, much more
addressed,
addressed. Yeah.
much more well addressed than they were in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that that you weren't followed by a specialist back then.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Only specialist was like Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky movies or
Yeah.
Van Damme in the Bloodsport
Eye of the
movies.
tiger.
Yeah, that's exactly. That was my psychology back then. Because when you have like a difficult moments and you're not ready for them, I get fuel from that kind of stuff. I love like watching people succeed and overcome obstacles and challenges. I thrive on that. It makes me happy. If I see a video of someone else like achieving some goal, or I saw a video today. It was a guy like running a marathon, and he lost his shoe on the marathon, and he ran 10 kilometers
Without a shoe.
without one shoe, and he won. His feet
With a
was.
bloody feet.
Yeah, but he
Foot.
won, because it's always about mentality and what you want to do, like to really push forward things. And back then we had that thing in the 90s, that era, you would look at Schwarzenegger, all these guys that were in the media, in the TV. There was like really guys that muscle, masculine, want to get stuff done. And yeah, it's hurting, but we keep going. And that's exactly it. It helped me a lot, if looking back, it really helped me a lot.
Well, you're still alive, so you must be doing something right. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. You talked about your father. your father was my mentor.
You had a good mentor.
Your father was a good friend. I hope he doesn't get offended by me calling him a friend, but and he was also responsible, and I gave him a lot of shit for the for helping create most of the competition we face today. I used to call your father in French "le roi de le déménagement," the king of the moves of the moving industry, because he worked for how many years at the green one, at the first one that I
30
shan't
years.
name, 30 years,
30 years, yeah.
and then after those 30 years, he goes to the blue one.
Force 1 year.
He was the first sales guy for
First, yeah.
the
First
biggest one in Portugal at the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he moved to the one where you started working to. That now it's a weird shade of orange, but somehow keeps the same name. Yeah, this was pretty much.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, let's not get into this.
No.
So, how do you see your father creating all the competition that we face nowadays?
I don't think he created the competition, honestly. I think, my father is a good example of a man, sometimes, I read the Bible the other day, and one of the passages of the Bible said that we should love our enemies and live the revenge for God, It was not like that, basically, but it's we shouldn't get like angry at the people that harm us, and we should feed our enemies. And I think that's what my father did, and he wouldn't see people as enemies, and he would do the best he could
I
for
don't
the
see
people.
the competition as enemies. I understand the comparison you're making, but I wouldn't call them friends. But
Friends is a
I
difficult
don't
word.
call them enemies because it's not a question of enmity. It's they work for their best. We work for their best. Although we have the policy of not talking shit, or not sorry, not talking ill about our competition.
Not everyone
We know
chooses
that
it. Yes.
not everyone chooses that path, and well, that's their problem, to be honest. Um, let's get into your father. Your father was your best friend.
He was, yeah.
He was your mentor.
Hmm.
He was your coach for in a lot of teams you played.
Yeah.
You miss him terribly, don't you?
I do, yeah. I really do. It's like, as a man, you always look up to your father, and as a man, you want like one of my biggest dreams and one of my biggest desires was to grow up and play for his teams and actually help his teams won. And it was really like rewarding to me to actually have been able to complete that. If ever, even though I haven't done it like at a super professional level, like not at the first league or anything, but I did it like in the lower leagues. I managed like to help him and his team win matches, and it was and really to celebrate with him. It was not a matter about scoring goals or playing well. It's just to be around him and to feel his pride and yeah, that's something special, man. It's kind of a special bond that you cannot like. When you have a father that you're friends and it's like a brother to you at the same time. It's like your best friend. It's an indescribable feeling to have been lucky enough to get that and to have experienced that. It's really wonderful.
You miss him terribly, don't you?
I do, yeah. Occasionally, I still pick up the phone to call him. And I go to the contacts and I look up for his name, and then I remember and say, okay, yeah.
Still happens.
It still happens, yeah. It's getting better, It's like it's difficult. It's like when to experience that the way it was. It's kind of fair, unfair not to me, and fair to him. Yeah, but it's life being how it is, isn't it? Yeah.
They say time heals all wounds. Yeah.
I think.
But there are some wounds that not even time can heal.
I think. Yeah. I think you're right. Some of the wounds. I heard another guy talk the other day. I think it was Billy Bob Thornton about talking about the death of his brother, and his brother was his best friend, and he was talking like after the death of his brother, he's like life had cut him in half. Where 50% he's happy, and 50% he's unhappy all the time. And it's kind of a balance. And during the day, he will feel the difference. And I think that's exactly it. Some wounds they really don't heal, and you don't want them to heal
We
because
just manage them, yeah.
yeah, you manage them. You try to you can be happy, and in an occasion you can be celebrating something that you're happy, and then you remember that the person that you would like to celebrate with is no longer there. But yeah, it is what it is. I think it's a never-ending bleeding wound that you need to just let it bleed whenever it wants to bleed.
It is what it is.
It is, yeah.
So, you want to talk a bit more about your father?
You're the interviewer, man. It's
Nah, I don't.
totally up to you.
Nah, I don't think it's the best thing to do right now, is it?
I'm fine.
You're fine.
I've made my peace with it, I think.
Have you?
I think so, yeah. Or at least I'm trying to mentalize myself that I did. But I think I did my peace with it. I think, yeah.
So you start working with your father on the green one or on the weird orange?
I worked in both. In both.
You worked in both.
Yeah.
Both.
I did.
You started as a packer, or
As a packer as well, and then because I spoke English and a few other languages, the guy started to call me up to the office just to answer a few calls and to do this and that, like run errands and stuff. And I would be so proactive that the guy said, "Okay, do you want to come and join the office as like a trainee?" And I would do pretty much everything, a little bit of everything. I would visit customers, escort them to surveys, translate, arrange conversations, answer calls, do invoices, drive the forklift. You
did everything.
Yeah. Even
was there anything that you didn't do in the moving industry so far?
No, I even cleaned the office.
Nice.
So I did pretty much everything. Yeah, I don't recall
That was at the orange. That's now orange. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Weird orange.
Yeah.
You did everything. Yeah. Surveys.
Surveys, driving,
coordination.
everything. Yeah.
Driving. Yeah. Did you do deliveries too?
Yeah, I did.
Guys were really short staffed. No.
At the beginning, yeah, it was like 3 or 4 people at the company, and we had to really push it, and we managed to get a few deals, get a few partners. So the job was the work was coming in, and we need to adjust. And it's really good when you actually are, because it gives you the opportunity to really learn about doing everything. It gives you a different perspective, and to me it was really helpful.
And you started liking the job immediately, or it was something that you?
No, in the job you say office job or
both in the as an operational.
No, I made so many mistakes, man. You wouldn't even imagine. I think the guy would want to kill me once a week because I really had a lot of will, but I made a lot of mistakes. I document mistakes or call people but I always owned up to the mistakes. A guy would come up, who made this shit? I was like, it was me, sorry. And I would do it, and the guy would okay, this kid is he's strong, he's dynamic. And yeah, I think one thing led to the other. I like to talk to people and I like to meet them, and being able to work in this industry really allows you to do both. I was always a very sociable kid at school, a very sociable kid with my friends, with I don't know, I hadn't really had any particular issue. Any place I went, I was always a really pretty sociable guy. I was a likable guy at school, and things always came natural to me.
At least you like to think so.
Yeah, no, I always I remember my father didn't went to many school meetings. My mom didn't go to a single one. But my father didn't go to many. But the ones he went, it was I had complaints from teachers that I would speak too much, or that I would be loud. But I never got any complaints about being really not educated or treating someone wrong.
Or being inattentive.
No.
Or bad marks.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you were a pretty good student, weren't
I
you?
always stood up for my friends. Always, and all the fights that I got into was to really defend someone. So even then, when my father was called to school, like for me getting into a fight, it was like always to not ever like for bullying someone, but always for defending people. So
Yeah, you do like your fighting,
I wouldn't say
or you
so.
did like your fighting.
Yeah, you know, it was
So you stayed at the blue orange one for how many years?
6 years or 7 years or
7 years.
6 or 7 years. Yeah, I started like from the office, and then we like the objective was for us to really develop the international business. So as the company was starting into the international business, so was I. So pretty much was like we was like I was thrown into a river of sharks, or to a sea of sharks, and pretty much like you go and do it. You know, I
Go and
remember.
swim.
Yeah, and it was fun, you know. It was really fun because we didn't have anything, you know. It was like we didn't have any structure like behind it, and it's fun the challenge, you know. If, I remember we went to the first conference, it was 2008, and we talked about it in the last podcast, and it was so fun because to me I was like I didn't have I never had
You didn't have any reference at all.
no reference whatsoever. I never been on a plane, never been to the US, never left Portugal. So like going to the US, like to all the things that you see in the movies, I was like, I was walking there. I was like, you know, when the pigeon goes with the chest like this, that was me. You know, I was like a balloon flying around, really happy and proud, and making like mingling with everyone, networking with everyone, and it was so nice because people were really nice to me, and it really worked. One thing led to the other. So it was like again I said
You want to
natural.
highlight anyone on that first year, one of your meetings that stayed with you in your memory and that you cherish?
I have a few. I have a few. I think like one of the funniest ones was the owner of Champion, like the really owner of Champion at that time. I remember like Elder told me like Fabio, it would be so nice for us to meet Champion. You know, they have a lot of business there, like this huge company, but I don't know him, so it would not be nice to approach him. And I see him like crossing paths with us, like walking in front of us, and
Mr.
as
Fogarty.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I like just like ran to the man and just introduced myself. And he's like, Elder, what are you doing? Like, I'm introducing the man. You wanted to meet him, right? So that's what I'm doing. Let's meet him. Oh no, you cannot approach people like that, you know. Of course you can. You're here to meet people, right? So let's meet him. And it was fun, you know. It was fun because the man in the end was very nice to me, very polite, very educated, and it was like was a funny moment. But again, it's like one of those things you like a leap of faith.
Yeah.
You just go for it.
Just go for it and talk
If
with. Yeah.
if you miss it, you miss it. If you don't, then awesome. But at least we try. So it was fun.
That 2008 one was where?
Orlando,
Orlando. Okay.
amazing
Did you get
place.
to go to the Disneyland?
No, I didn't get to go to Disneyland, unfortunately. But a few years after that, it was Orlando again, and I went everywhere. I went everywhere. I love
Went
those.
1 week before.
And yeah, it was 1 week before, and I stayed like longer, and I managed to go on Halloween night. So we went to
Oh, nice.
Universal Studios on the Halloween night. Everyone like was running around, and I was like smile on my face, like the Joker, like having the thrill of the lifetime. It was so nice.
Beautiful. And besides Mr. Fogarty, who else would be a memory that you cherish?
Oh, that's where I met Francesco from Bliss.
Francesco.
For the first time, he was pretty much doing the same thing, like trying to really push his company, and we got like to be friends right on the spot. You know, the energy was right. It was fun, and yeah.
Nice. You want to identify Francesco and send him a hi. We are talking about Mr. Francesco Argiro from Bliss in Italy.
Ciao, Brody, mi manchi, eh? Manchi tantissimo. Sei speciale.
Perfect. So, and your international career started then.
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe you were in all IAMs at least for until you left.
Yeah, it was like so many conferences. We went to a couple, like 6 or 7 IAMs, and also a FIDI ones because I made FIDI as well, and it was nice to go to Last FIDE I went, it was in Athens, in Greece. It was nice, yeah. I participated in quite a lot of conferences.
Everybody knows you know that. It's amazing.
It's good to know. It's good to know. I know a lot of people as well, so it's like people are friendly and nice.
People like you. You have that capacity that. Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say capacity. You have that kind of personality that that people enjoy. You know?
hopefully.
Or they ask for you just to make conversation. I don't know.
It can be.
It can be too.
A bit of both.
So, what made you leave?
What made me leave that company? You know, after 6 years or 7 years doing the same thing, I really embodied the company. You know, I was working there, and and that's what I do in everything I do. You know, I can
You tend to put your heart in everything you do.
everything, yeah, because I think that's the way you should do things. If you don't do it like with total focus and heart, then why do it? Why bother? You know. And after 7 years of doing that, I was like, I think like the owner of the company forgot at the time. I made mistakes as well, so I have a share of what happened. You know, I made mistakes. Probably didn't conduct the communication really well. Um,
Internal communication or.
Internal communication of perhaps communicating what was on my mind. I was getting offers from many companies to come and work, and you can imagine like if you're a young guy,
Sterilizes you, yeah.
it takes away your mind. You know, you get offers from Italian companies, from Greek companies, from French companies. You all these kinds of offers, you know, and they promise you this and that, and you get like your mind gets overblown with ideas, and at the same time, I was not really like recognized in terms of payment, monthly wage, where I was working. So I think one thing led to the other, you
You
know.
felt you weren't appreciated.
I wouldn't say that. I think I was appreciated in the work and in the company. I think, you know, in the end of the day, it's like you need to make a living, and you need to make a living according to what you produce. And I was really delivering a lot. You know, I was doing service on my car, and like doing really surveys on my car with my fuel expense, and
And you weren't reimbursed for that?
I was in part. Sometimes I wasn't, but I did it anyway, and I asked for tools that I was not given to me to be able to develop, and then the idea behind it was for me to really develop more job and more work, and it was difficult to me at the time because I didn't have the tools to compete with some of the other
What
companies.
kind of tools are we talking about?
I would say the very minimum, you know. I remember I went to do a survey in the Brazilian embassy, and everyone around me were using an iPad to do a survey with the software. And I
With
remember,
survey software?
and I was doing in the paper with a pen, and the ambassador said, "You're not using an iPad." No, I don't have one, sir. Okay, I think like everyone was using it but me because the surveys back then were at the same time. And I remember I came back to the office and listen, we should get an iPad, we should get some software to try and develop and do more like of a quality job. This happened today, and now I'm still waiting for the iPad.
Okay, nice.
But again, I made a lot of mistakes. I was young, and you know, once the confidence is broken, it's kind of a no way back, and I must have broke the confidence, and at the same in the same way, I think my confidence was broken, and then once it's broken, it's broken.
Your
So,
trust was broken, so there was no coming back.
yeah.
Why did you decide to open an international moving company?
Phew, that's a difficult question. You know, I remember I had just rented a house, my first like domestic house, my own house. I just had rented, and it was pretty much I had a pile of bills to pay, and I was on the government salary at the time, and like it did
On the dole.
on the dole, yeah, and it didn't make the cut. So it was really 2 difficult months because I remember I was going to everything happened at the same time. You know, I rented the house, I was going to play professional football again, and I went on. I would had a tryout with Atletico from the second league.
Atlético from
The,
Alcantara, yeah.
yeah, that's the one. I had like a trial, like it was not a trial, it was already like a pre-contract trial thing. And I remember like on a friendly match from my former team, last minute of the match, I got tackled, and I ruptured my ankle. So I had to go to the hospital, do a cast, and I spent like 2 months casting. It was pretty much at the same time when I was fired from the previous company. And I remember those 2 months was like me staying at home, bills piling up. I was not able to work, and I was like just feeling sorry for myself. I was like this again, like this feeling of feeling sorry for myself again. So in a conversation, I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. I was like, what is the solution for this? You know, my solution was I do this work. I know how to do this. Let's give it a try. So I came up with the name Invictus because I wanted to feel undefeated. Or even if when I lose, you need to feel undefeated. That's why I came up with the name. And then I just like started emailing people and starting presenting the services and visiting door to door, even with the cast on. And yeah,
That must have been some slow visits.
yeah, it was not easy. It was really not easy. But you,
It was a fight, wasn't it?
another one,
Another one.
just another round.
I quite like the name Invictus, and I like the poem too. I compliment you on your choice for the company name. So, you open Invictus, and
Yeah.
it's pretty much a one man show.
Yeah, for a long time it was.
It was a one man show. Who was your first employee?
It was my father. My father was my first employee. Not employee, my partner
Partner.
at the time. Yeah, and then we had Tiago, but yeah, he was the first one because at the time that the owner of the previous company found that I was launching my company, my father was still working for him, and he thought of a conflict of interest, so he decided to let go of my father as well. Then my father came to my company, and helped me like also push it forward.
Yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while, but it seems like it was yesterday. It was. I remember like I cried a lot of times because I was so sad of leaving the other company, because I really felt it like was mine, and I cried like many nights and days, and I would like really cried like emotional, like anger cry. I don't know. Um, and it seems like it was yesterday because these things like they go with you, and even when you do things in a nice room like this with a podcast who no one ever dreamed to do, you still remember those days, and you kind of miss them as well because it's difficult, but it's nice as well that you get to experience it, and get to like to just enjoy the thrill of the ride.
Well, sometimes bad things happen for a reason. Yeah. And you came out, from my perspective, you came out on top. So you have a high functional company, pretty much well known everywhere. And this is due to that.
It is, man. It can be. It's nice to hear that. We try to. Always try to do that. And it was not really the objective, like to really have a big company. You just try to. I would say win another round. Just another round, just another round, just one more round. Let's go another round, and you try to make it, and yeah.
We keep making it,
Yeah, and I
which is
think
good.
that's how
Which
winning
is
is
good.
is done. I don't know if you ever heard of a poem from Rudyard Kipling. It's a poem written like so many years ago by it's a UK
British.
British writer called Rudyard Kipling, and the
Yeah.
poem is if
If
and
you'll be a
there's
man, my son.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly the one. And he has a perfect saying that I play on my mind all the time is that if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, then you'll be a man, my son. And it's exactly it. We've come with disaster and triumph, and everyone like laughs at you when you fail, and everyone claps at you when you succeed. But in the end, it's
Most people don't understand that you have to fail many, many times before you win.
that's exactly it. And yeah.
We are exceeding our time today, but I don't care really that
No,
much
there's
because
no time limits,
no, I know there's no time limit, but it's a different one, and I'm quite enjoying this. And seeing you squirm is also
Enjoying the ride?
yeah. I'll probably be fired after this, but it is what it
No,
is.
no, no.
But the thing is, it's been a struggle.
It
Yeah,
is, yeah.
an uphill battle. But somehow you keep managing to win every round.
Not every
Not
round.
every round, not every round, but winning more than losing. So
And the bruises you cannot see. So.
yeah, and there are some bruises that you manage to hide them quite well, I must say. Since you founded Invictus, what moments in time would you point out as special besides obviously having the company founded?
Wow, there's a lot of moments I would point out. You
Yeah,
know, I have
it's
a
just the most special ones.
most special one. I would say like to move out from the office that we were working on as initially. You know, initially I didn't have an office and I didn't have money to pay an office, so I basically made a deal with a local moving company, and I said, listen, guys, if you let me stay here for free, then all the jobs that I get from my international moving, you will be doing them. Um, and being able to move out from that office, you know, the office was not nice, the warehouse.
Was it that under that rats or something
Yeah,
like that?
it had rats, you know, at the warehouse. It was not nice. It was not nice. It was nice at the moment, but it was not nice looking back.
It was like only for the first year or
It
something
was
like
for the
that.
first year, yeah. So after a year, like really doing like a really pushing job, like pushing the company forward, you know, to actually be able to rent out a place. And I remember we had like I rented the place. It was 100 meter size, and I bought 3 lift fans, and I was like looking at the 3 lift fans and thinking, wow, how am I gonna fill this? You know, but at the moment I felt really proud because it was like me, my father, and Tiago, 3 desks, 3 lift vans, and 100 meter office and warehouse. But it was nice because it was a shift in time and in moment. You know, it's like one little step up.
That must have felt like a big leap at the time,
It
didn't it?
was, yeah. It was. Yeah. I remember my father was always the conscious one. You know, I'm usually the brave one. You know, I go first and then I think about things.
Yeah, your father usually gave the tiniest things lots of thought.
He would give up before even
Yeah,
attempting.
sometimes.
And I
Yeah.
do the exact opposite. You know, I go and then
Yeah, sometimes he did that. Yeah, I quite
it
remember.
was like really.
Nah, we are not
That's
getting into this.
yeah, that's too difficult. You're not gonna be able to do
Not
this.
worth it.
You know, tell him, then watch me do it, and I would just go and do it, and it was fun. It was quite fun. So yeah, that's one of the moments. Another moment was when we came to this
Oh yeah.
building that we are now. You know, because that's when I realized, what do you think really attracts what you you need? You know, I was like, I always had the vision of having a building of the company. You know, when you build up a company and you have a you wanna have a nice building for people to come, and people that work with you can like come and enjoy where they are. The customers can, wow, this building looks good, I want to work with these guys. And I had this vision of like having a building, and I remember I would run around with my car, place to place, area to area, like scavenging for like a building to rent. And it was on a Sunday. I was driving up, and I see a man coming out of this building. It was like pretty much abandoned. So I stopped the car, approached the man, said, "Listen, is this yours?" "Oh no, I'm just a rental guy. I'm just like the guy from the real estate. This is actually for rental, but the owner is very complicated." And it's like, that's my thing. Let's go for it. So I remember I had to meet the owner of the owner of the building like 10 times before he trusted me. And yeah, look at us now. So
You probably don't remember, but my first day working as an Invictus employee was the first day we came into this building.
yeah,
For people that don't know, I worked as an IT consultant for Invictus before shifting to international moving, as weird as it may seem.
It's part of my managing stuff. I look at people and it doesn't matter what they do. And I remember when I looked at you and you would come to the office to do the IT stuff, which I have no clue about and I hate because I get more confused when you talk about things of the IT then and that he would come up to the office and he would do so much more than what he needed to do and what he was paying to do. That I was like, okay, this guy is good. He has a good like working mentality. Let's give him a try. So I invited him to come in and look at him now.
So that was one special moment. More.
It was.
Give us more.
Give us more special moments. Whoa. There are so many special moments, man. Sometimes like when we completed 10 years was a special moment. When we bought that truck was a special moment. The special moments are always about people. Like we joining Feedy, we becoming Omni, the recognition of the company, being able to serve like nice people and nice customers and to really, you feel accomplished.
Do you feel accomplished now?
I think I'm an eternal unaccomplished person.
You'll probably never feel accomplished, but which is a good thing. Which is a good thing.
I have this desire to win. It's not desire to win; it's a desire to compete. I love to compete. Doing compete it makes me feel alive. And I think there's always stuff to be done, and yeah.
Looking back on these 12 years,
12 years. Who could imagine?
did you expect that you'd be in this position now when you started?
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. I remember for the first year that I had Invictus, I didn't look at the financials because I didn't want to put the pressure on me. Most financial guys that listen to this will say, this guy is crazy for not looking at the financials. But basically, there's a reason behind it because when you put objectives, I need to make this much money, I need to sell this much, I need to make this much of revenue. You put like a target on your back. It's like you're always chasing money, always chasing numbers. And I said, listen, I'm going into this. I don't have any money to invest and I don't have any money. So I used all the money that I got fired from to actually buy the stuff that I needed to produce. And every time I made a service, I would reinvest everything that I got from the service to really get another tool, get another system.
To build up the company.
But yeah, I never imagined I would, well, if you asked the Fábio 10 years ago, no, I didn't. The only thing I had at the time was courage. A bag of courage. That's the only thing I had.
And probably you had a few screws loose too.
You have to be crazy.
You have to be a bit crazy to open a company in Portugal.
I think anything you want to do, you have to be crazy. You have to let that spiciness to really dare to do stuff that people want to do their entire lives they don't do, and you have to be crazy enough to try and dare them. Because I remember when I spoke with family members about me opening a company, they laughed in my face. They didn't tell me, how can I help you? Do you need any money to help? Can I work with something? Can I provide you something that you... No, they didn't. They laughed at my face. So, and you have to be a little bit crazy not to be taken away by that negativity and really like, okay, no one believes in me.
But not your father.
It was not my father. He didn't laugh at my face, no. No, he would never do that. He would be the first one to push me forward.
Yeah. You would. And he's still pushing you forward.
Hopefully.
He's still pushing you forward. I almost bet on it. I don't bet because I'm not a betting guy, but yeah.
Me neither.
So, we have a lot of people that left Invictus in the last couple of years. Yeah. And they left to open their own companies. Yeah. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Great professionals, without a doubt. But how do you feel about this?
I was almost expecting this question to come up. It's difficult to answer that, man. At least with I don't know. Some things you cannot control. When I bring someone to work with me and you're the living proof of it, I believe in people and I give them the tools to do all they can and more. I don't want you to do the very minimum. I want you to exceed yourself and to do more than what you think you're capable of doing. And some people don't know how to acknowledge that, and they kind of think that everything is easy, everything is, they look at me and they think, oh, this guy just come to the company and gets the bag of money and goes back home. And it's so much more than that. And
Do you take a bag of money like Uncle Scrooge?
no, man, we don't take a lot
You
of bag
wish.
of money. And I don't even wish that. It's not about the money. You need to work, and if you do something, you're fortunate to do something that you like, and you're happy doing it, then it's really more than you're really more happy than I would say 90% of the people in the world, because most of them work for jobs they don't like, getting underpaid and really not pushing their lives forward. It depends on what you look as richness. Riches to me is not like having a super expensive shirt or a super expensive pair of jeans. That's not riches to me. Richness to me is like completely the opposite. Is you having a loving family and people that really care for you and friends that really care for you and cheer when you need them to cheer and help you when you need them to help. What richness is to me. Yeah.
That was a nice deflection of the question.
The question
So I have to ask it again. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel sad. Honestly, I feel sad when I brought the people to come work with me. I always think that I want to give them tools to grow up with me and with the company and to stay here for many years. Unfortunately, the people that left all think they all left for different reasons, but in the end, they all ended up doing the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of a sad thing to do. I wouldn't. And it was very different from my situation. I launched the company because I was fired.
You were fired. Yeah?
I was fired, yeah. I had to work. The people that left, they resigned and they went on doing on their own thing for different reasons. But I think always for the wrong reason. For pride, for money, for this and that. And I think that's really the nice. Being absolutely honest, I don't think that's the right reason to do stuff. And if they did it, then when God wants to take people away from us, then we must let them go. Um, I have that saying, if people can walk away from you, let them walk, because if they walk away from you, they were never with you to begin with. And yeah, it might hurt at a certain period, and it might be difficult. It might like make it more difficult for your business, but it is what it is. We cannot control people and we cannot control character. That's one of the things I've learned over the years, is like you can teach people many things. You can teach them how to work, you can teach them English, you can teach them Spanish, but character you cannot teach them. Either they have it or they don't, and if they don't, they're going to do things that they want to do, and they don't undermine the value of I when I left the other company, I never talked about the company, and not even once. And you see people nowadays, they move companies, they open up their own business, and they launching messages like, I used to work for this guy, and the picture that they use is the picture they took here, or they took somewhere else. So it's kind of a screwed up thing, like, if you think about it. But
People are always free to do what they want. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot control what people do. You can only control how you feel about it, and
That's why I asked what do you feel?
makes me sad. Makes me sad. Makes me disappointed. I feel a bit betrayed, but it is what it is.
But in the end, if you look at the impact it had on the company, it's almost negligible.
Yeah, I never looked at it like in that way. I think it's like the attitude itself that hurts me more. Compete. I'm always compete. Some days we're gonna win. Some days we're gonna lose. Some days I'm gonna get more business. Some days I'm gonna get less business. That's perfectly fine. There is always someone else. There is always a bigger fish in the pond, and it's that's all okay. But really, like the 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 attitude is what really affects me.
You see it as a betrayal of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. The biggest example I can give you of my mentality and the way I think is that I'll give you two examples. One example, I was 16 years old and I was playing for a local team called Tiris. And I remember I had like this amazing coach and I loved the coach. And the coach was fired from the team. Not because the team was doing poorly, but the team was doing really well. But he had a disagreement with the president and the director, and he left the team. And I joined the coach because I really loved the man. I really loved the coaching of the man, and
You went with the guy.
to his new team. It was a team way worse. It was completely different conditions, but it was against what I stood up. I was always the guy. I can tell you. I think I can share this on the podcast. When I was fired from the previous company, the owner of the company wanted to buy.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
He wanted to buy like 50% of my company. At the time, the company didn't
You
pretty
barely
much.
opened. You were.
I refused the proposal. I didn't want to sell the company. I didn't want to sell
But that
myself.
was what, a year after you opened, or
6 or 7 months.
6 or 7 months?
Yeah. I was offered a proposal like to buy half of the company. I said no. Because that's who I am, That's why it bothers me so much that people are so easily traded and they trade their jackets and the shirts like so easily. Because to me, it's like you cannot be well with God and the devil, and you cannot be on top of the wall. You have to choose a side, and if you choose a side, go with it until the end. And if you don't, then you cannot always be like with a shapeshifter. Now I'm here with you. I'm gonna be nice, and then I'm with Mateus, the
You're gonna be
producer.
nice.
I'm gonna talk bad about you, and I play this role all the time. I don't like that. So really, like having people that sometimes behave like that, it's not nice with you because flocks of a feather fly together. Yeah. I think I've answered your question.
That's a nice answer. Would you like an easier question now?
you're you're the man, man.
Yeah, we are having this special session because it's Invictus became 12. So, what's in store for the next 12 years?
What's in store for the next 12 years? Honestly, I think we should like just enjoy what we are doing. That's what the momentum that I am now. I'm trying to enjoy where we are now as a company, and trying to delegate more and actually be able to enjoy the company more, and at the same time really develop what we are doing and doing it better. That's what I think. Trying to introduce new forms of business, new ways to do it, and to do it like improve the type of services that we do, correct mistakes that we do, and try to keep evolving. We've been evolving for the last 12 years, and we should want to keep that momentum going and to try and attract new people, attract new stuff, attract new customers, because we're going to lose some customers along the way, and we're going to lose some business along the way, and we're going to lose stuff along the way. So it's like a constant wheel. It's like you're paddling on the same place. You have to keep paddling.
Like those hamster wheels.
Yeah, kind of like that.
You keep treading.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, I must thank you for your presence on your own podcast. Thank you very much, Fábio, and thank you for going with this idea of an interview with no script, without anything. This was pretty much raw.
It's good. I like raw.
You like raw meat?
No,
Well,
cooked.
I
Medium
ate
rare.
I ate tartar beef in Poland.
It's nice.
Again, we come back to Poland. Cheers, guys. Very good.
It is.
Very
Well
good.
done
And it
is
was
good.
raw.
Well done is good.
And it was raw.
I think that's exactly it. When you do things like naturally, and I'm a kind of natural guy. Things go easy. It was not an easy interview. I've had easier ones, but it was nice. It was nice.
I could apologize for it, but I won't, because I'll be fired anyway. So it is what it is. Say goodbye to our viewers.
Bye, guys.
You are the most special people that see our podcast. Maybe because you're the only one. But it is what it is. Thank you for coming to our own podcast again. Thank you for being open on your questions.
My pleasure.
Or your responses. Sorry, the questions were mine. Thanks, Mateus, for producing. Now maybe I know we exceeded time, but you could stop pointing that gun at me, please. Have a good one. Cheers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy.
If you don't, that's your problem.